What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Old School Law. I am Dantron69K, and I have no idea what episode this is going to come in at, but that's all right. Now, I just want to preface this episode. I'm really happy to have everybody here. We got Endgame Arcade returning.
We're in the end game now, in my parents' basement.
In the dessert position, Wales.
What's up, everybody? Who wants some gelato?
Oh. We got Shadow Gaming up center.
Hey, everybody.
And then my co-pilot, Wolfman. Now, I love having Wolfman in here. Wolfman, all right. I know this is near and dear to all of our hearts. This episode, we're going to be very passionate, just the way that it is. It could be a Debbie Downer, but I'm going to try and I'm going to commit to making it not that way. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where else to go here. So, Wolfman, give us a heads up on what we're talking about.
All right. So I just want everybody to know I'm pissed purple to start this discussion. All right. And this is about the current state of gaming and the future of console gaming as we know it. There's been a lot of news blurbs out the last couple of weeks, especially coming from Nintendo. People were already ticked off at the price of their games, their IP games like Mario World and DK Bonanza and stuff. So, $80, $90 a game. And then I guess the maelstrom started when people found out that the games that they're buying are going to be little digital key cards. And they're even cheaping out on the artwork. If you've seen a Switch 2 game case, it's like half artwork. It's not even full artwork like you would see on a regular Nintendo Switch game. And then you could kiss manuals goodbye, of course, and you're not getting the game, and we're seeing that also. There's been a lot of hubbub on PS5 with Doom, the new Doom game. People that have bought that, they got a physical copy and they find out that it's like 36 megabyte digital key to download the game at like 86 gigs or something. So I guess the point of this rant is, what is everybody's thoughts and feelings about what is happening? And just even before we started, I think it was Shadow Gaming brought up the point that you're not even buying consoles today. Those of you that are in line for a Switch 2, Nintendo put out a statement saying that if you have emulated games on there, or you break their Nintendo code of conduct, or you talk bad about them, you're a YouTuber or a vlogger, they could brick your system. So in essence, you're buying a $450 piece of spyware that you're renting from Nintendo. You don't even truly own it. And as a collector, that pisses me off. I am on fire right now. You can't tell, but my undies are smoking hot.
Was it all that Taco Bell? Is that what it was?
Well, that too.
Okay.
So that's why everything's blurry.
Yeah. So this is just kind of want to get everybody's idea on this. I kind of wanted to open up with that, but what are some thoughts and feelings about what was said? Do you want to add something to the conversation? And maybe you don't agree with it, because maybe you're coming from not a collector perspective where you care about physical media. Maybe you are on the side of, this is great. I could care less about collecting a case and a physical disc. All I care about is putting as many digital games on an SSD drive, have it at my fingertips like this. And I don't know, just want to get some thoughts and opinions on this.
Okay, I'll kind of play devil's advocate on that. With Microsoft's game sharing, I game share with a family member. It saves us hassle because in a sense, only one of us has to buy the game where we can both play it together. And now I'm not saying this is the way it should be. I understand it's an easy way to work around having to buy 2 copies of every game to play with your family and friends. But yeah, heading the way it's heading, this is definitely not a collector's dream. This is more we're giving everything to the people who want instant gratification.
Well, and real quick, Sean, to play devil's advocate to that, that's how it is now, the immediate future. What happens once consoles are gone, physical media is gone? What happens when Microsoft says, yeah, Sean, we don't like that? Because remember when Netflix didn't care about sharing passwords and stuff like that until they did care. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's great that it's that way now, but it doesn't mean it's always going to be that way either. Just
Sure.
Again, to play devil's advocate.
No, valid points.
Go ahead, Wales. I know you're thinking.
I think it's fucking bullshit.
There you go.
Because-
Tell us how
I
you really
agree.
feel, but go ahead.
No, because I mean it's theft. It's straight up theft. The games, I understand if you want to go a digital version and stuff. Some people you want to have that, and myself included. I don't. You know, I want my game. I want to be able to play it. That's how we've all grown up. You know, we buy the game, put the game in, we boot it up, and it plays. You know, nowadays you get a game, you have to put it in, it installs, it has to put in a new patch because the game is broken when it gets sent out instead of actually being correct or whatever happens with it. And then what you're doing is now what they're saying is you're buying a license to have the game. Even if you get a physical copy of the game, you're still getting a license for them to allow you to play that. Whenever that license drops and you spent 50, 60, 80, $90 on a game, and they're like, we're not re-upping that license, on to the next. You lose that. You lost what you just spent money on because you don't own anything. You're renting it. You're getting a license to allow you to play the game. And for Nintendo to come out and say, not only are we going to do that for games, but now we're going to the actual console itself. We can go in and absolutely destroy it for you, and you can just never have it again. And your account, we can just Thanos snap it and it just goes away. So whatever games you've bought on your account from before Switch 2 is now gone. And unless you have something backed up, everything is gone. You just lost hundreds, thousands of dollars. You know, if you've gone and you've bought an N64 game again that's been remastered, or GameCube game, or some 3DS games or whatever, you know, that all of this just comes out to theft to me, and that's illegal. So I'm like Wolf. I'm pretty pissed the fuck off about this, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it because it is what it is.
So
So
I'm gonna play devil's advocate a little bit with you, but also again because this is so far-reaching. It's like if you've ever seen a placenta when it comes out, right? It has like the sac and it has all these veins going all over the place. No, not like that, Wolfman. No, but here's what
is that what it looked like to you?
So here's what I'm getting at. So a lot of times people will bring up, well, you know, like, oh, this, what about this? What about this? So I'll bring up something. The old school Xbox, OG Xbox, when you had Xbox Live, if you tried to play an online game and you had it modified in any way and you clicked into Xbox Live, it would scan your Xbox, and if it realized that you had something, guess what? It would block your Xbox Live account. But what it wouldn't do is brick your frickin' system.
Yeah.
You could still plug that thing in and put in your physical game and still play it. Why? Because you frickin' own it. And that was your mistake if you went online with it modded. Now, are there ways they had, because everybody knows about this, this system's, you know, like 25, 26 years old now. You had the switch that sometimes people would forget to turn off because they would play their modded games that they had physical, or they didn't have the physical, like they had the software, you know, like, I'm not saying I did, but you did, and you would have a switch on the back and you would play those games. But guess what? If you went online trying to play your other game and you forgot to hit that switch, that's when you would get hit. But again, that's just an Xbox Live thing. They didn't just go, oh, by the way, now I made your entire console that you paid us, you know, $300 now not work. That's one of my biggest challenges. And remember, Xbox One tried to do that too, where you were forced to be online. But I have a question. But they changed. They backtracked. They 180'd when they got the pushback. Yeah. But they're not getting the pushback now, or Nintendo is not listening to the pushback that they're getting because their hubris, where they say that we have enough people that are just going to do whatever the frick we say because we're Nintendo. They're doing something that they never said that they would do. Like, they were always innovating. They're always doing something. They don't want. They always maintained that they weren't just gonna just do a slight little increase and then keep the status quo and going. But that's exactly what they're doing with the Switch too. They're just making it a little bigger. It's a little faster. It's like that's not anything. Well, you could use this. The Joy-Cons are like this and stuff. All right, that you're trying to still sell me on that, but that's not what this is. So that's like my intro to this discussion and where I'm coming from, because I have a lot more to say about this, and I'm just collecting my thoughts because I want to hear what you guys have to say. Like, I see you, Shadow, up there with your finger up, so go ahead, just lay it on me, dude.
Okay. Well, now we knew this would come from Nintendo. I mean, they have the same situation. Look at what happened with this last generation of consoles, the Xbox Series S and X, the PS5. Our games now went up $10. Nintendo knew that they could milk it for more and get away with it because they have the blind fan base that will just do whatever because, oh, it's Nintendo. And
Yeah, and the thing is, though, is like Dan said, Nintendo is like a leader in a lot of ways for physical media, for the gamers. They kept their prices lower. Sure, they weren't on the cutting edge, so maybe that's why they didn't press the envelope. But now they're kind of on the precipice of, hey, we don't care. We're going to put 80 because we think you'll buy it. And that's fine, like if they really think Mario Kart's worth it. But the problem is the industry is going to look at that and they're going to follow suit. And it's bad for all gamers. And you would like to think Nintendo would be more responsible, but they don't care. They want their money, you know. They're looking out for them, which I don't blame them, but at the same time, it was nice when they were thinking about the gamers a little bit more, or at least it felt like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so I'll just touch on one more thing, the leasing of the hardware thing. The leasing of the license and the leasing. So what it all comes down to is now the way that I see it is that they are they're leasing you their intellectual property for you to play on this system you bought for as long as they want you to play it on that system you bought. This perfect example is the 3DS. Guess what? Oh, 3DS is gone. All of those things are gone. They want you to buy those 3DS games or something upgraded on their newer system. And with all digital, it's very easy for them to snatch that stuff away from you because you don't actually own it. Even though you paid me $50 for it, you don't own that. Sorry, we're no longer supporting it Microsoft Windows style. So that stuff might not work. We're just not going to support it. So you got to buy this other thing to that's one of my biggest challenges, and sadly, that's the way that I see it going. The whole industry is going, and I got a little indication of this way back when the PlayStation started putting out, and even Xbox Series X or the Xbox Series S when it came out, the specific like digital only versions. I go, I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing. You're testing the waters. I don't like it. Stop that. But guess what? The way that you see that digital sales is up because we're a society of frickin' laziness. There's more people that are just gonna, oh, I want this, click, boop, download it, right? But they're not thinking the ramifications that, oh, guess what? You want to play that game in another 5 years? Nope. It's yeah. Anyways, keep going. I know you guys got more thoughts. I'm just gonna shut up for a second.
I'm going to throw a monkey wrench into things too, because I'm coming from the perspective of a collector, retro gaming collector of many, many, many years. And I wonder if Nintendo sets the pace for this with pricing and all the things that they're saying, and Sony and, you know, Microsoft is already out of the console race. I mean, they're just doing the Game Pass, you know, and they're taking all their great games and they're putting it out on Sony, you know, like Gears of War's coming out soon, Forza, like all these games. But I think what I'm worried about is that people that do want to get into the retro scene and they do want to start buying physical media and they can't with this new current generation, that's going to artificially spike all of retro games, because now you're getting another kind of market that wants to get involved, and people are realizing, whoa, wait a minute, there's no physical media out here. You know, I see the prices spiking. I see just it going up. And I thought, like, you know, Dantron and I talked. I thought, honestly, a couple years ago, I thought the retro gaming bubble would burst. And I thought prices would dramatically start coming down. But the way I'm reading the tea leaves, I actually see it going up and up until it becomes completely cost prohibitive to collect again. Unless you go to a yard sale, an estate sale, and you get lucky and go to some 90-year-old woman who doesn't know, you know, what Chrono Trigger is and selling it for $3. I don't know. I don't see any good that comes from any of this as a gamer. Especially
as a gamer, no. As a shareholder, yes. Because Microsoft, they're already like third in the console race. What did they do with their consoles? They raised them by like $100. Nobody's going to be buying Xboxes, but they don't care because they want, like you said, Game Pass to be on everything. They want Game Pass to be the Netflix where we can charge what we want when everybody has it. If you want to play Call of Duty, maybe you can only play it here down 10 years down the road, and we can charge what we want for Game Pass. And if we want to raise it 3 times a year, what are you going to do about it? You can't go buy Call of Duty anymore. You have to play it on Game Pass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like Netflix. Hey, I got Netflix to watch this show. Oh, I'm watching other stuff, or I'm busy. It's summertime. Now I finally got time to watch the show. Oh, they pulled it. They didn't want to renew the license, and now they got a different show on there. Why was I paying for the last 2 months then? You know? And what's to stop Microsoft from just pulling stuff off Game Pass once it becomes, this is kind of expensive for all this other stuff? People are going to pay for Call of Duty or whatever, so I don't care. We'll just drop that stuff and raise the price again.
Microsoft has already done that with certain games. They'll put it on Game Pass for a little bit, get everybody hyped up, get it all hooked onto it. They'll get halfway through the game, then they pull it off, and the only way you can continue playing it is by buying it now. So they're not dumb. Dude, they're not dumb. They're not dumb.
Well, and Antron, to your point there, like if they get rid of the middleman, like the Targets, the Walmarts, the Best Buys, where you can't buy the physical media, and let's say it's only on Microsoft Game Pass, they can charge whatever they want. They don't have to worry about, what if Steam's having a sale, or what if Target's having a sale on the game, that this gamer can get it cheaper there. They can be like Nintendo, where they just keep their prices $70, $80. And it's just digital now. So they're not paying the middleman. They're not paying for the artwork or the boxes or any of that. And they're still charging $80. You know what I mean?
I mean, I get it. Yep. There's server upkeep and all that kind of stuff. But this AI, the way it's going, and how little like human hands actually have to be involved in a lot of that stuff now, that's not really as much of a thing that I see. But Wolf, dude, you hit the nail on the head with the retro gaming market, though. So the way that I see it is, and I noticed it, I want to tell you this specific thing. I bought a game. I am not exaggerating. I bought a game 2 days before the Switch 2 announcement. 2 days. And as soon as the Switch 2 announcement happened, I will tell you, it wasn't the next day, it was the day after that. That game, the cost for that game doubled everywhere. Like the average cost went up twice. It went from a $60 disc only to $120 disc only across the board. And that was because it wasn't the day after the Switch announcement, because remember that the day the Switch announcement happened, everybody's like, all right, cool, and they were asking questions. But then once they started getting the questions asked that next day and answered, like the physical media being gone, like those are just like licensed cards, then the next day is when the cost of all of this stuff spiked. And Wolfman and I were talking about it earlier today. And the way that I see that, the reason why that happened is it threw it into stark reality, like a shock to your system. Like, wait a minute, there's a finite amount of physical copies of video games now. Like, if this is the way it's going, it's going to hit a point that there's not going to be any more physical medias entering into the market, physical video games entering into the market. Meaning what you have is what you got, unless there's a weird bootleg or there's like limited run, like Endgame was talking about earlier today too. So that's what happened with the market. Boom, spiking up. And Wolfman, I'm with you. I don't see it dropping. I don't. And so it's going to be a ridiculous situation, almost like Pokemon cards, where if you want something, you're going to be paying for it. And you got to just understand. It's like I'm seeing it going the way of Pokemon cards and Jordans. Like if
Yeah.
you want
Oh, yeah.
if you want nice shoes, the average cost of the shoe if you could get it retail was $49, but they only made, it might be $49 to $69, but they only made 200 versions of that shoe, so now that shoe is 14 grand, right? It's going to be the same thing. There's only so much physical media that's available now, so it's just going to keep going up. And so it's I mean, yay, we still have some physical media, but like Wolfman said, I'm a collector. I'm not a reseller. I'm not buying this stuff as an investment property. I'm
Yep.
buying to collect and pass on to my kids, right?
Yeah.
And my grandkids. So for me, this cuts deep. So anyways,
Yep.
again, I don't want to talk all the time. It's just getting me.
No, I understand. We all understand the anger about this because this is it literally is the death knell of video gaming for a physical buyer's perspective.
Yeah, because I mean that's it made when I saw other videos and did some thinking. It's like it kind of goes against everything my entire life, all of our lives really, because we've
Yeah.
all grown up and we had Atari, Nintendo, Genesis. We bought games. There are cartridges. You put them in a system, even today, and they just work. You boot them up and you play them. And now you're getting to a point where you're not even going to have a game to boot up anymore. You're getting a key. You're getting an unlock code to then put the rest of the game onto your system. It's not even on the cards. You don't even have to have the card to be inserted now, or there could be nothing in your system. I mean, and I'm thinking even the new consoles that come out, they're not even going to have disk drives, or they're not even going to have a place for you to even insert a cartridge or a card or whatever. And even if they make one for some reason, it's not going to be what on the PS5 digital is like. They allow you to, like, you get the drive and you attach it to your system, and it works. These new consoles aren't even going to allow you to do that. It's probably going to be like an external hard drive. You just put a cable into your system, and that's how you're going to work it. And
Can I ask you a question, Wales?
Sure.
What happens if you want to buy a game and you have no more storage space on your hard drive on your console? What are you doing?
Exactly.
You're downloading, you're deleting games and putting
deleting
games on there, or you're paying more money for hardware,
Mhm.
And you know what? Just so you know, I actually read up on this a little bit. One of the main reasons why Call of Duty Modern Warfare is so large, they
It's
specifically
for that.
Space.
they
Yeah.
specifically did that to take space. So people will think twice on, do I want to delete this game or do I want to keep playing it? So they're weighing space. They're using space as the commodity for I like playing Modern Warfare with my friends. All right, well, for me to do that, I can't afford it. Okay, I'm just not going to buy this game, and I'll just buy a couple extra skins on Modern Warfare. It's freaking nefarious as hell. So
Yeah.
that there's just like, and then what happens to this? All right, now you know what, Wolfman, go ahead and talk for a minute.
No, this is awesome. That is such a great point that you brought up. I mean, I totally didn't even think about that until you mentioned it, and you're so right. I mean, the new Call of Duty games, they're like 100 to 120 gigs to download that thing, man. And oh my God, that totally just brings up a whole new
Well, if the
whole new
rumors
thing
if the
now.
rumors are true on GTA 6, 150 gigs on a SSD is required for computer use. I mean, think about that. I mean, it hasn't been confirmed, but that's even more than Call of Duty.
Yeah. Even with you putting an external, or not external, an internal, extra storage and put it on there. I've already thought about, it's like, these are some games I want to have that I'm going to get, but then there's other games. It's like, I don't know if I really want that game now because it might get on the chopping block for another game I know I want. And I don't want to have to go through that. I don't want to have the feeling of buying a game and then getting rid of it just to have space for a new one. And then if I want to play it again, then you have to go through the whole damn process again of re-downloading it and getting rid of another one. It's tragic. I can't.
Do you guys really want to have your minds blown? It's because my brain is way too deep. I mean, I've been looking at this stuff too far because this touches exactly what you're talking about, Wales. So get this. Wolfman, you talked about Doom. Okay, I did look up the actual numbers. Okay, so I'm going to give them to you. Doom the Dark Ages. On PS5 on the disc, it gives you 85 megabytes worth of data on that physical disc. Okay? And then here we go. The Xbox Series X physical disc is 300 megabytes. Megabytes. Not
Right.
gig, megabytes. That's tiny. For a PC game, that is 69.5 gigs. Okay?
But now here's the funny thing.
Okay.
Those things are all supposed to be Blu-ray discs.
So I'm going to continue my statement.
Okay.
So I'm going to keep blowing your guys' mind here because I ran down this rabbit hole in my own thought process. Okay. So let's just say that you get this thing, and so you have the storage space on your. I'm just going to use Doom as an example. You say you have the storage space on your PS5, Wales, and you go, all right, I'm going to get this physical game. All right, well, let me just download it from the internet. But what if your internet provider has data limitations on you?
Yeah.
You're just downloading almost 70 gigs worth of data on a game that you already paid for. But guess what? If your family's streaming, you might be getting a fine from your basically an extra fee for being an overage fee from your internet provider to download that. So these are all little tiny things that just run down the rabbit hole of holy crap. This could spiral into something freaking crazy. And so I don't know. I'm gonna stop again.
Well, and Dantron, to your point of Call of Duty, we want to make it excessively big so that you don't delete it. Most people are going to have Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto. That's going to take up a large portion of your thing. And you know what? Then when the competition comes out, like the Battlefields or the Saints Row, maybe there's not enough space for that. So maybe it's even more nefarious where, hey, now you can't download the competition either. So you're going to have to stick with us. Real quick, I just wanted to touch on this since we all grew up through each generation and we got to see, like we talked earlier, the cases, the discs, the manuals, extra stuff like maps, right? Why did they put that in there? Did they feel like they had to put that in there? They put it in there because they wanted to enrich their product, to make this the best thing that you ever wanted, and you wanted to open this and you wanted to buy that. That's for the gamer. Sure. Did they want to make money? Absolutely. But they did things that you felt like as a gamer, this is special. This is for me. I want this. But then nowadays, they're looking at the gamers more as ATMs. How can we squeeze as much money as possible out of our customers? They're not looking at us as gamers. And not all of them, not all the companies, but a lot of those companies are. Like GTA, can we get away with 100? Can we get away with 120? Maybe. Should we? No. But if we can get away with it, why not? Well, because the next 10 years, you're going to be making that money back. Yeah, but if we can make it back day one, why not? Charge another 20 for the online component, the shark cards and the
season
microtransactions.
Pass, season pass, live service portion that we're adding 6 months down the road. Guess what? If you want to be in this part of the city, it's gonna be an underground. We're gonna have fighting down there, and it's like, all right. So what do I need to do that? Oh, that's an actual pay to go into that area. Sweet.
Here's your extra $35 charge for going in the underground.
With a 5-month monthly charge on. I don't know. We're just spitballing stuff, but these are all on the. They're on the. They're realm of
they're
possibility.
valid. They're valid.
But, so Endgame, real quick, you mentioned really great point, right? So nothing like opening up Legend of Zelda and getting that map and all the inserts and stuff. It's so cool. And Dan and I, we talk about how we have the Splatterhouse collector's mask, which is so cool. It's on our shelves. We love Splatterhouse. Those days are over, right?
Yeah.
I was ready to pre-order the Elden Ring Night Rain game that's coming out. So the incentive, if you spend an extra $15, instead of getting a map, a physical map, or a little collector figure or something, you get a digital soundtrack. You get a digital this, you get a digital that. So really what I'm saying is the days of all of the cool physical bonuses that you got when you went to GameStop to a midnight release where you pre-ordered a physical game and you got something physical with it are over because they're all going to be digital and your bonuses are going to be digital. And that's why I love physical media. Because if Wales called me up and said, hey, Wolf, there's this GameCube game. I can't get it. I really want to play the physical copy of it. Can I try it out? Absolutely. I would send it in the mail to him and he could play it. You could borrow, you could lend out your games to friends. Hell, if you got tired of your game, you could sell it. You can make back your money. And I'm not talking about GameStop. You go to Facebook Marketplace, you could go to eBay. It's yours. You own it. The days of doing that are over, and that is what saddens me.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. So let me ask a question again. I'm gonna go to this. Who played Overwatch? The real Overwatch.
I mean, I know what it is. I played it a few times.
Okay, so I played the real Overwatch and I love it.
Mhm.
I want to say I played for the first, I don't know, 5 or 6 seasons. I got like top 500 one time. I was a Lucio main, so it was really, really unique for me. And then I was also a tank, so Reinhardt, because I always play, and you guys know this about me too. I'll usually take the less wanted character because the team needs it. I'm a team player. That's just how I roll. Like, yeah, I want to do DPS, but the team needs me to do something else, so I'll do something else. Guess what? I bought Overwatch when they were selling it. Back before they started giving it away free, when they were selling it, I bought the physical copy of Overwatch, played it, loved it. Guess what? They changed it to a free to play. Oh, that's still fine. I mean, I still got, I played it for like a year or something before they switched it to free to play. I can't even play that game anymore. You know why? Because the physical disc now, when you put it in, it still calls to a server. And guess what?
Yeah.
That server, that Blizzard server, does not exist anymore. It says, oh, nope, you have to upgrade to Overwatch 2. I said, that game frickin' sucks. I don't want to play Overwatch 2. I want to play the game I paid for. Sorry, doesn't exist.
Ooh.
So there's a perfect example. Oh, and by the way, they give me a little teaser every once in a while. Like they'll go, oh, for this month, we're bringing back Overwatch 1. You can play it again for this next month. Oh, okay, great, guys. That sounds awesome for this month. But what about my kids that have been bugging me because they want to play the original Overwatch? They loved playing it together. Oh, we still can't do that. Right on. You guys suck. Like that's just another example of like that. People say, oh, the good part of it, right? The convenience, digital convenient, super convenient. You're just like, oh, you know what? I want to spend my money how I want to spend it, and that's just fine. But just understand, not everybody wants to purchase stuff like that. Like there are some people that want to still own the physical media. And look, I give you as much respect as you want. I don't want them to take away digital, digital offerings. I don't want that at all. But they shouldn't be taking away. Yeah, they shouldn't be taking away physical. And if they did take away digital, I would be up in arms fighting for you. But I'm not seeing people fight for the physical media like I would fight for you if they were trying to take away digital in reverse. So, yeah. Anyways, I know, Shadow. I know you had something else to say there. I cut you off.
No. You said it You said it perfectly. I mean, with everything that's out there, I mean, yes, a lot of stuff is going digital, and that's the stupid trend. I don't know where they thought this was the brightest idea in the world, but then again, it's reality where it's not even the money. It's reality. Look at how many people are out there that don't have common sense. That people don't know how to use their brains anymore. I mean, this is what it's become, and we can't do much. We can try to fight for what we want, but the problem is they're going to cater to the masses and say fuck the old guard.
I'm just gonna tell you guys, I ain't buying a Switch 2. Sorry, I'm just not.
Nope.
Now, if I win DT's, contest,
same, yes.
right? I ain't gonna kick him out the bed for spilling breadcrumbs, right? So I'll still take it, but I'm not going out of my way to buy that system. F those guys. No.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'll even buy another system coming up, honestly, because they're all going to go this way. It's not just Nintendo that's pulling this shit. I mean, it's game developers and stuff. It's Ubisoft.
Well, yeah,
it's across the board, and I don't. It just sucks knowing that it's just the fact that I spend money on something, but I don't own it. I get a license, and when that license is not renewed, then it's gone. It's lost. And to your point, Larson, talking about servers and stuff. I'm looking at some games that, now that I've kind of got some time to start playing games again, I'm looking at least 6 games right now because I'm a trophy and a completionist whore you know, when it comes to getting things, I can't platinum that game now because the only things that are left are online stuff, but those servers are gone. So I'll never ever be able to accomplish, you know, I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, and yeah, like those just because I got a late start to them, that's just on me. But those servers don't exist. So I mean, I can't play ranked matches. I can't do where we have a full team online playing together and stuff because it doesn't exist anymore. So you're just stuck, never
And
getting
in Wales,
things
if they
completed.
cared about the gamer, they could patch it, you know, they could patch out those unattainable achievements and say, our bad, we had to kill this because of whatever reasons. But you know what? These 5 achievements that you can't get, we're going to create 5 new ones for you to go after. But that would cost money. And why would we do that?
Exactly, because that makes no sense at all. Because yeah, that game came out years ago, and it's all to the newest, latest, greatest kind of thing. So it just, again, it just as angry as I am about it, it's just sad because this is not how I've grown up playing games. It's the exact opposite, and I just feel like part of me is being taken away, and it's just like you have to deal with it. You just have to be okay with it. And if you're not okay with it, well, tough rocks, pal. You know, like
Endgame, were you going to
conform
say
or don't.
were you going to say something else before that too? I saw you get ready to say something.
Oh yeah, no. So we think of Microsoft as the anti-consumer when it comes to like pushing digital and that sort of thing. But Nintendo's been sneaky with what was that one game, the Mario 3D All Stars collection,
Oh,
where we're gonna artificially make this a limited run physical release just to create some sort of fear of missing out to run up sales. And then they took that away? Why? So they have already experimented with this sort of thing in the past. And to your guys' point, they're pushing $80, right? They're jumping the $70 tier to 80 for Super Mario Kart World, right? So how are they trying to, hey, buy our Switch too? We'll give it to you for 50. Look at that savings, right? Oh, but that's only a limited time, you know? So they're trying to drive you to digital because, hey, you're saving money here. You don't want to be paying 80, but buy the system with it because you're saving money, when really it's a sneaky way to push you to digital.
yeah.
I
Wolfman.
just want to say something real quick. I know Endgame went like this. You know, I saw him do the money sign, you know, capitalists, you know, all that stuff, making money. But to be honest with you, if you're putting out physical media, it doesn't cost that much to press thousands and thousands and thousands of discs at a time. The cases they get in bulk, like, you know what I mean? So they figure out how many games they want to put to market. They get those cases at bulk. They press the discs at bulk. They really don't include manuals anymore. So what's really the cost? You know,
Well,
probably
you
a
have
couple
to have a
bucks.
middleman to sell it.
Yeah, there's the middleman. There's so I agree with you, Wolf, and I'm fine with it. I'm totally 100% fine with paying more for a physical. I'm serious because of that specific thing. But the problem is that they were making digital and physical exactly the same price, and now that whereas digital should have been less than physical, but they got us used to it being the same. So now the few, like for instance, Doom Eternal, you could buy the physical, which wasn't even the full game. That was the big backlash, and it was more, but it still was the same. It was just a digital download. So, but with the case and stuff, I'm okay with having a paying, like, let's just say an additional 7% more for a physical. That should cover a lot of their overhead and things like that. So yeah, I'm okay with paying that more for the physical and then printing less physical, right? Just don't make 50,000 copies of it or 100,000 copies of it. Make half of that, and if you need to run another pressing because all those sell out and you see that it's selling really good, then do that. But at least start out with that. But they're not wanting to. That's extra work. They're not seeing that they have to. So
that's a shame. Like, I get it with the Switch games, right? Those little like cartridges. Like, I heard that cost money. Like, that was significant cost for Nintendo to put them on those cartridges. But guess what? Let the consumer decide if they want to get the physical copy with the cartridge versus the digital. I did. I always got the cartridge. I paid more money for some of the Switch games. That was my choice. Give me that choice. That's all we're asking as gamers. Give us that choice. I don't mind paying a little bit more, like Dan said. if I could get the physical copy.
Well, and I had like two recent examples with my daughters where they wanted to play some games. One of them was Super Mario Sunshine on the Nintendo GameCube. So that took me 5 minutes to get my GameCube out, plugged in, get my disc, put it in. She's playing it. The other night, they wanted to play Star Wars Battlefront 2 on Xbox One, which I have that copy of that game. However, it's not loaded onto my game or onto my hard drive because long ago I had to delete it because we didn't play it anymore. It took up a lot of space. All these other games came out. It was over an hour wait. By the time that was all the way done, they weren't even interested in playing it anymore. And they even had this thing like where it says like ready to start, like at the beginning of the meter. So it only took like 15 minutes to get to that. However, all that was basically a demo where one player can kill like 100 bots, and that's all you could do. You couldn't play any other thing in the game except for that. So really, it was worthless. It was almost like false advertising. And that's just like real world examples of like my girls. They grew up in the digital era, right? Like all their music's on Spotify and all that stuff. So they don't care about the discs, right? But for ease of access, the one that was on the disc, we could pop it and play immediately. My daughter played it multiple hours because she could. The other game, they lost interest. They're gone because that was going to take an hour to download. And they're like, I got other things to do.
Yep.
Great example.
Yep. Because that's just what we grew up doing is you had the game, you put it in, you played and you went. That's all you did. And my kids expect that because that's just what I've taught them. And now, they're not even going to be getting the ability to do that. You're going to have to download something. And then if you like for right now, I don't pay for our Switch. I don't do internet on it. I don't pay Nintendo's thing for it. If you want to switch to, you're going to have to pay Nintendo their internet because you're going to be getting keys to download it from their site. So you have to spend more money on top of the money you're spending.
Good point.
And it's like right now I can play all of our Switch games because it's on the card, and you have to insert those, and I don't have internet on it, and it's functional. That's not going to be the case with the new one.
That's another question too that I'm not sure about. Is it going to require a call home after because that was a big thing. Like for Xbox, it was like, oh, you don't have to be online all the time because they tried to do that, but you do after 7 days of not being online. You're going to have to click online to for us to run a security check on you, or the stuff's going to stop working. That was part of it. Is the Switch going to be something similar? Like, I don't want any internet on the Switch. Nope, this won't function without internet connection. All right, well, that kind of sucks. So again, which I believe that's what's going to happen. So hence the reason no pre-order for me. But go ahead. So
real quick, Dan, trying to piggybacking off of what you were saying there. I remember a game specific on Xbox 360, Marvel like Ultimate Alliance 2, I think it was. There was a bunch of DLC, and that was back in the day when I would bring my console to my parents' place and they didn't have internet. But hey, I bought the game. I have the game disc. I bought the DLC. It's all on my hard drive. I bring it to my parents' place. Not only could I not play the DLC, it locked me out of the game completely because I wasn't connected to the internet. Even though the game was not based, it was a single player offline experience. Because I had that DLC, if I would not have had that DLC, I could have played the disc game offline. But because I purchased that DLC on my hard drive, it said, nope, we have to make sure that you purchase this. So you're not playing this unless you hook online. And my parents, they didn't have internet at the time, so I couldn't play it.
Yep. I've lived that. I've lived that too. So you guys can jot this down. You guys have heard me say this before, but I'm going to say it again. Anybody else that's watching this, my new criteria for buying any like newer console or newer game, this is what it is. If it's a console specific, PC is a different beast. I'll buy digital on PC all day because it's already been gone that way. But if I own a specific console, this is my criteria: is 1, will I be able to play it in 15 years on the actual hardware that I purchased? 2, using the same game that I actually purchased, and 3, without the use of the internet. If it doesn't fit all 3 of those categories, I'm out. Like, I'm done. I'm not going to do it. You're not going to force me into it. Guess what? And I'm going to be all done, and I'm going to be just fine. But it's sad because I do have a good retro collection. I can go back to playing better games, I think, than some of the newer stuff. So I think some of the newer stuff is freaking hot garbage.
100%. 100%.
But for everybody else, it's like you get this or you don't. Like, you don't have that choice. And so, like, I would, if you're a collector, I would push you to take up that same kind of a criteria to save yourself heartache in the future, because it's gonna happen. Like, even if like my 3DS goes bad or whatever, I can always buy another 3DS, the hardware, and put my physical game back into it and play it again, right?
Mhm.
It's not, oh, that game, that specific game that you have is locked to your specific hardware. Now that hardware went bad. Now you got to make sure you get your account locked back onto it. Oh, we don't support that hardware anymore. That's okay though. We have this new console that you can purchase, that will transfer it over here. You just have to purchase the new console. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to buy Super Mario 64 for the fourth freaking time, which I've already bought it 3 times, because that's how Nintendo works. You want to play it on this new software? Sorry, it doesn't really move over to the newer hardware. You bought the newer hardware, but you still got to buy the game again. But we'll sell it to you for a little bit less. What do you mean a little bit less? I've already bought it like 3 times.
That's a scam.
Anyways,
Yep.
I'm done. I'm gonna let it go again. But that's my criteria, and I'm gonna let you guys talk about it again. I'm gonna sit here
Well-
and stew, be happy, pretend I'm happy, but stew a little bit.
All right. Well, great points, first off. And, Endgame brought up a really great real world example with his daughters, right? So I have 2 sons. I have 14 or 15 systems hooked up. Hey, Dad, could I see? I want to play. My friend told me about this PS2 game. All right, come on downstairs. I open up. I have this little vault. It's like a hidden door under the stairs. I let him in. It's like walking into a library. Everything is by system. It's alphabetized. They could go in. They have a lifetime library or a video game card. They could pick the game right off the case. They could open it up. All right, cool. This is the game.
Smells
and
terrible.
Pop it in. And definitely smells terrible. But like you said, Endgame, within less than 2 minutes, because all these systems are hooked up, pop it in, play it. And it's great, right? It's amazing. And it's, something that I've trained my kids with. But you're right, they're more of the digital age, but they know Dad's got the physical stuff. And if they want to try something, they could go downstairs, look, oh, this looks kind of interesting, because I have taught them to look at the artwork and kind of get interested from that. So they'll just pick a game out, look at the back. Oh, this looks interesting. Can I try this, Dad? Sure.
Well, in
No.
Wolf, if they pick the wrong game, like back in the day, we had to keep it and put 40 hours into this terrible game because
course.
we spent all our money. If they pick the wrong game, put it back on the shelf, take a different one.
Yep.
Whereas if you pick a digital wrong game, I spent an hour and a half downloading this game. Oh, this game sucks. I'm delete this. I'm going to get this one instead.
You
Another
can't get
hour
a
and a half
ref-
downloading that game. Okay, this is the one I want. 2.5 hours later, you're playing the game that you wanted. Whereas in your example, 15 minutes later, they tried out 2 games. This is the one they want to play.
Yep.
Or Endgame, you can't even get a refund after 2 hours because you're still downloading the freaking game after time of purchase.
Oh my gosh, yeah, let's go through that one too. Jeez.
Oh, that's a good point
Jeez.
there.
So, go ahead, Wales.
No, it's sad because as we've gotten older, we've seen gaming go from Atari up to PS5. Like, it's gotten exponentially better, and now I think we've reached that threshold, and it's now regressing, in my opinion. Like Lars, you said, the games aren't as good as they used to be, and I agree with that. I mean, I can still go out and thoroughly enjoy a PlayStation 1 or a PlayStation 2 or GameCube, or hell, even really good NES games, because you pick it up, blow on it, put it in, and it plays, and you go. That's it. And my kids have done that, and so they, it's like a rite of passage kind of thing, and now it's like the whole ball game being completely flipped, and it's none of that's even going to be necessary. And if you want to have that experience, like you said, the retro shopping ability is going to be astronomical, to find these old games and stuff. So it's just very disheartening. It's like, we're trying to be upbeat, we're trying to be happy, but I mean, the more you think about it and you ponder and you look at it from all these different angles and all these different variables and woulda, coulda, shoulda kind of things, it just sucks. It's not the way I was envisioning retiring and seeing, like, God, I wonder what a PlayStation 8's gonna look like. I wonder what such and such. And now it's like, I don't even want one. I don't even want the thought of it. You know,
we Arcade Adam isn't in here. He might still pop in before we cut this thing, but I'm going to speak for him really quickly. We are now to that point that he's been talking about since he was at Sega Genesis age. Like, we've had this conversation before, that consoles are just crappy PCs, standardized PCs. The problem is the consoles have gotten so expensive to try and keep up with cheaper PC technology that they're to be standardized, but be able to push what PC can kind of push for a short time. Because PlayStation 5 is still great. PlayStation 5 Pro still looks fantastic. It is not a higher end PC. Like, higher end PCs, even not top of the line PCs, will still blow that out of the freaking water. So, but we're to that point where they're just crappier PCs in shinier boxes, very expensive, and now whereas you can buy a PC, you can get a good nice PC, and it will last you 4 or 5 years, which is usually the lifespan of a console. Really, its lifespan is about 5, maybe 10 years. But if you get a pretty good PC, it'll last you for a good 5-6 years if you really play it right. And you're not going to be running everything maxed out, of course. That's just ridiculous. But you'll still be able to enjoy, and it'll still look really, really freaking good. So whereas consoles, not so much. Like, you get the console, this is what you get. It is what it is. But guess what? On PC, I can wait 6 or 7 months. Guess what? That game's going to go on sale. And so I'm going to be able to buy that game that I want, that everybody was like, oh man, you got to play it. Just use some patience, calm myself, slow my roll, purchase it, right? So that's why, like, all newer stuff, I'm telling you, I'm leaning more towards PC. I'm fine with not, just all done on newer consoles because of this specific fact.
Well, and like, I'm a console gamer through and through. Like, I didn't have PCs growing up, so I'm not as big of a deal that the PC looks better than the PlayStation 5. I'd rather have it where it works, and I don't need to install a graphics card and all that stuff. But to your point, why are console gamers paying to play games online when PC isn't? Wolfman, you and I play Fortnite. Why is that a free game and we do not have to have PlayStation Plus to play that game? But if I want to play The Last of Us multiplayer or Gears of War multiplayer, I have to pay an extra $50, $60, $70 a year to play that. Why? PC, I can play Gears of War for free. Like, it's just because they can get away with it, they do it. Because we conditioned the gamer to pay this Xbox Live fee, we could take it away, but no, we'll keep charging them. They'll pay it. Like, just stuff like that is annoying.
Nobody likes to get their stuff taken away, right? Nobody likes to get their stuff that they're used to getting taken away. So, go ahead, Wolf. I see you pondering. What you got?
Yeah, no, I'm taking this all in. This has been great. Some lot of awesome points and stuff. Yeah, I don't even know where I want to go. I mean, like, to Will's point, PS5 seems like that's going to be the last of the physical media. So I will enjoy the hell out of it. I will make sure to get some rare print games and stuff, and and really enjoy collecting that, because I honestly see that that's the end. It'll die with the PS5. I don't see the PS6 or any of these other consoles catering to the physical media gamer anymore. I think they're going to do what their wallet tells them to do, and what's easiest, and how to protect their IP and all that stuff. And I don't know. It's really sad.
So I'm going to play devil's advocate again, and I'm going to say there's a reason why people give the well, it all has to go digital eventually because of the size of the games, and and they're way more complex and all that kind of stuff, and they're just too big to put onto a disc, right? Onto physical media. Not true. I call BS. Who remembers PlayStation 1 games that there was 3 discs? So anybody that has that argument, they can shut it. Like, that's 3 DVDs then. That's so be it. If you got to charge me an additional 10% more to have the physical because it's 3 DVDs, give me the option, right? I want to own the thing. The problem is they don't care if I want to own it. They want to license it to me,
Yep.
And they will let me play it until they decide I don't want you to play it anymore like that. So you play it like we want you to play it, and that means you got to pay a little bit more over here to do it again, or just pay the whole thing again because sorry, we're not supporting that anymore. And you needed it called to this server that that's gone. It's just gone. We can't maintain that stuff forever. The crew, right? I mean, everybody knows about that stuff, and it's just like I don't know. Excuse me. If us as gamers in general are just lazy, or we're just kind of turning a blind eye, because I've seen, again, I'm not the only one. I'm just going to tell you, but I have seen this thing coming for a bit, and it's been scaring the crap out of me for years now. Especially, like I said, when I started seeing the digital only, like Xbox Series S and stuff, I'm like, please tell me this ain't what's going to happen. And we had talked about it a little bit back then, but the time is now, and it's here, and it's upon us. And how I vote with my, like what Endgame was doing and Wolfman. Show me the money. I'm not showing you nothing except for maybe what's behind my underwear. That's it.
You know what? You know what video game scene just popped into my head when you were doing this last bit?
Johnny Manziel?
No.
Yeah, right.
Conker's Bad Fur Day. Remember, he grabs one of the wads of cash. Here I am, you greedy bastard.
Yeah,
exactly.
Final Fantasy VII was 4 discs on PS1.
3. 8.
Was it 3?
4. I think 3 discs for Final Fantasy 7.
3 for 7.
One
I
of
think
them
4
was
for
4.
8.
Which one was 4? Was that 8?
4 for 8.
Yeah.
8.
Okay,
8.
that's what.
Well, and Wolf, it came with what, 100 plus full color manual, and they didn't charge $60, $70, $80 because they knew this is going to blow people away. Getting 3 discs worth of content and this big manual, we're going to get so many more people to buy this game because they're going to be telling their friends how good this game is.
Yeah.
And okay, Concord, right? Like, sure, Wolf, Fortnite, right? We've put a lot of hours into Fortnite. If they kill Fortnite, whatever money we've spent or our time, we can say, hey, that was a great game. We're moving on, right? Well, what about Concord? You spend all this money to get this game, and they kill it 2 weeks after it comes out. Yeah, they might have refunded you, but I mean, what if it lasted a month and then they killed it, where they're past we have to refund everybody or they'll sue us?
Well, and then they're not valuing time in that situation either. What if there was a few people that really, really liked Concord? They wasted 2 weeks like just playing and grinding and trying to get these things done and getting their stats up, and then they go, yeah, we're done with that. Well, wait a minute, I liked this game. Sorry. It's like, I don't know. It's
too sad.
It would have been nice if when this all started with like these online only games and hey, we can kill these games and they no longer exist, there's no preservation of this game. It would have been great if there was pushback at that time where they said, you have to make, if you're going to kill this game, you have to make an offline only feature. So at least there's some value of ownership of this game.
Or giving some kind of peer-to-peer server access. Like, I'll use a recent game that a few of us played quite a bit, Friday the 13th.
Yes. I'm ready.
They killed the servers.
They gave us a patch. They patched it so we could do it.
Yes, there's a patch to do it. But it's one of those things, not every company is going to be that kind.
Mm-hmm.
But they can have that option if there's enough people speaking out.
Well, I just looked this up because I thought it was so fascinating. I'm doing real-time fact-checking. And Dan is right. Okay, so a Blu-ray disc, single layer, 25 gigs of data it could hold. If it's a dual layer, 50 gigs. So guess what that means? A new Call of Duty game, throw in another disc. It's 2 discs as opposed to 1. And Grand Theft Auto, the new one, if it comes out, okay, it's 3 Blu-ray discs.
To be fair, Wolf, some games do that. The Final Fantasy VII Remake and I believe Cyberpunk, they had an install disc that you had to install first, the entire disc, and then the second disc was a play disc where you had to have that in to play it. But the first disc installed everything. So technically, the entire game, minus obviously any day one patch or whatever, but the entire game was on those 2 discs, technically. Like, yeah, you didn't swap back and forth like on the PS1 with Final Fantasy, but everything was there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. It's like it really will blow your mind too when you understand that frickin' Sony owns the technology for Blu-ray disc manufacturing. So they're killing and shooting themselves in the foot.
Yep.
I
We
mean,
can
but
make
I
more
mean, so
money,
they,
but we don't want it.
I mean, technically, I think they can make more money if they don't have to do that physical part, right? They don't, and then would they be able to increase the cost of a physical version to offset creating the physical version?
Oh, they've had conversations and they've had the pie graphs, and they decided, oh yeah, this will make us more money in the long run. You know they did.
I know, but that's the thing that just blows
That's
my
a great
mind.
point, though.
It's like it's not like Sony in particular has nothing to say
Mhm.
about it. Like you guys own the technology. Your freaking systems have had a Blu-ray player in it for 3 generations now. Like what?
Well, another quick thing that I'm thinking of, like a lot of people argue like with the $70-$80 game is like, oh, back in the N64 days, the games were really expensive. But it's like that was the cost of some of those cartridges, right?
Yep.
Well, the new Switch cartridges, there's 2 different kinds. There's the cheap ones that they put the key card, like the code on, and then there's the more expensive ones that like Cyberpunk's going to be on. Like the whole game's going to be, I think it's like 64 gigabytes or something like that.
Yeah.
And that one does cost more. Let's say $10 or $15 more. What they should do is say the digital copy is, let's say, $60. And if you want the cartridge costs us $15. So that's going to be $75 if you want it. To me, that's a fair
I
compromise,
agree.
as long as
Yeah.
you're bringing the price down for the digital only. But what they would do is they would charge 75 for the digital and then
Yep.
90 for the because that's what's frustrating
Yep.
about it. It's not that we're not willing to pay for this stuff or we want it free or any of that. It's just like, be fair when you do it.
And they wonder why pirating is so bad.
Right?
Like, figure it out, you
Yeah.
guys. Like, we want to spend money with you. I have tons of physical media and stuff. People want to give you money. I promise you. You give a good
Yep.
product, they want to give you money. You give a bad product or a not so good product and you try to overcharge for it, guess what? People are going to find ways around that. And it's out there. No matter what you do, they're going to find their way. So just help us. Help us. Help me help you. Help me help you.
Shut up and take my money. But oh well.
Yeah.
Well, and what's going to happen is the third parties are going to suffer on the Switch because people are going to pay 80 for Mario Kart, for Zelda, for Mario Sunshine 2 or whatever, right?
Yep.
But they're not going to pay $80 for Street Fighter 6 or whatever. They'll just get that elsewhere, right? Or Grand Theft Auto 6.
$30 on.
They're going to pay $120 for Grand Theft Auto 6.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe they won't for Hades 2 or these other games, right? And then they'll find other ways to get those. But I have to have online and all this stuff for Grand Theft Auto. So I'll give them my money, but I only have $120 and I still want to play these other games. That's what a lot of people will do.
Grand Theft Auto is not going to be able to fit on one of those freaking cartridges. That's going to be a
Oh, yeah,
digital
definitely.
only game on the Switch.
Mhm.
And it's going to be probably throttled back
Yeah.
because they're saying the Switch is going to
Oh,
be
yeah.
comparable stat-wise to like a PS4. So, I mean, it'll still look really nice. PS4 looks great, but it ain't going to be the same. They're not.
Right.
And it's not going to be
Well-
150 gigs. It's probably going to be more like 80 gigs, but still crazy.
But Dan, I'm gonna go with this just as a side bit. You know, graphically, look at how bad the Switch had Mortal Kombat 1 when it came out.
I know.
Mhm.
But that was the
Well,
I mean, that doesn't even look like
to
PS3
be
era.
to be fair, when the first Switch came out, that was a cell phone processor
Yep.
that was already like
No,
5 years
no fair.
old at that
Yep,
point.
it was a Tiger
Yeah.
chip.
Yeah, it
Do
was.
you really think Grand Theft Auto 6 on the Switch? Because I don't think so.
I think they'll get a version of it on the Switch, but I think it's going to
Really?
be an online.
They'll get
component.
the campaign, no online.
Not recommended.
We'll see.
Will it be through Xbox Game Pass?
Well,
Ah,
possibly. Yeah, I know, dude. It's I love how they're all kind of getting along now, though. That's one thing that I will say. I love how all, but I think that they're doing it out of necessity because they can
Mhm.
see just like we can. If they're not careful, they're gonna frickin' fold. They saw what happened to Sega back in the day, and if they're not careful and they don't watch what they do, they can end up throwing out 2 frickin' turds like the Saturn. Don't get me wrong. Don't yell at me. That's not how I meant it. The Saturn launch and the Dreamcast launch. That was 2 bad decisions in a row that freaking folded their
Yeah.
entire console market, and they
Yeah.
were number 2 in the industry
Yep.
for a long freaking time. So
Mhm.
there is a track record if they're not careful, and I know they're greedy as hell, but they're not necessarily dumb. They know if they don't play their cards right, they understand what's going on right now with how close we are to a video game crash and recession.
Oh yeah.
Like it's super close. They've been throwing out all these freaking garbage games, and then they give us a great single player game, single player experience in Doom the Dark Ages. If you guys saw it on my channel, it's freaking awesome.
Oh,
I played
awesome.
it a little
Looks
bit.
great.
Yeah.
Always fun watching that.
It's a great game and a perfect example. But then they twist it and make it freaking digital only. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why is a
Yep.
single player campaign tied into digital? Oh, I'm like, this is the
Yeah.
dumbest thing I've seen. Like, this was
Yep.
a redemption arc. This was a redemption arc for like physical media, and then they just like, yeah. But I think Endgame. I think Microsoft had something to do with that one too. Dang it, Microsoft and Bethesda. Ah.
Yep.
They're getting hurt though. PS5 sales, 500,000 copies were sold.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep, because they were wanting
That's
the
it.
physical, and there was nothing physical about that physical game.
Yep.
They paid more for it.
And
so
guess
the
what?
back-
They lost me. I would have bought it physical.
Yeah.
I'm not
Hey.
buying it now.
And to your point, how much would it have cost for two? You were already paying for one disc. How much would it have cost to throw another disc in there? One quick thing. Have you guys heard about Cyberpunk on Switch, where it's going to be fully on the cartridge? And that shouldn't be a big selling point, but it's actually getting really good cred by like a lot of the people that are like, oh, I might, even though I have this, I might buy this because they're doing it the right way. I want to support that.
Yep.
And like a lot of those other ones that are just key cards, it's like, forget it. And it's like, that's so weird. Like Cyberpunk came out like with a horrible launch, but now it's redeeming itself by putting its whole game on a Switch 2 cartridge. Like, okay.
Yeah, I know. I've read about that. I was like, huh?
I'm
Okay,
down with it.
so I just looked it up. The average cost to build to make a Blu-ray, $2 to $4.
Yep.
So you're telling me you can't spend another $2 to $4 and jack up the price another
Right.
5 or 6?
I would say it'd be like a 10 to 15 additional with how everything
Yeah.
works, but I'm fine with that for a physical
Yeah,
case.
I
and it
agree.
on a disc, and I can
I
put
would.
it in the system and not have it call home. I don't want to be on the internet. I want to be able to take it out to Wolfman's cabin with no Wi-Fi and plug it in like I can with my freaking Super Nintendo and be good. Like that's
Yeah.
it.
But at the same time, I mean, with them bringing, unless they started coming out with games that were actual complete games and not half-ass games, that day one patch that saves some of the game-breaking bugs. I'm looking at you, Assassin's Creed Unity. But
Yeah.
it's without that patch too that does, unless they go and say, okay, this is actually done, there's no, we're 100% happy to bring this out to you. We feel this is a complete game. That's which is, let's face it, it's never going to happen.
Well, Nintendo
always-
games are like that. Nintendo games are polished as hell. The first party IP games.
Not the
Yeah,
sports games. Those
Yeah,
sports games come out very shallow with free characters
I'm
and
not-
stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like a Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah,
Back in
the
the
AAA
day.
games.
Yeah, AAA games, exactly.
Yes.
If we had that quality, I mean, still having that online component sucks ass. I mean, let's face it. We're here playing single, and if we have to take it somewhere that doesn't have the necessary infrastructure, you're up shit's creek.
So I will say that in my opinion, and I'd love to hear your guys' opinion on this, definitely. In my opinion, the console generation where we had the end of mostly complete physical discs that were made is PS3 and Xbox 360. That's where,
100%.
that's where it ended.
Absolutely,
That's
100%.
because you did still have patches and stuff a little bit on 360 and PS3, but they were still mostly together. And most of the patches were just little patches. There wasn't like the game wasn't totally broken at first. Like you could run it without patches, right?
It wasn't a 20 gig day one patch.
Correct. So majority of it. But once we hit PS4, once the online components got so tied into like with Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, that's where I saw like every single game had to have patches, and then there were constant updates, and I'm like, why'd you even put this thing out when it was
Yep.
like this?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I don't. Yeah.
The 360 PS3 era, in my opinion, is like the peak of gaming in a lot of ways because we got the big leap to HD. The graphics haven't been really that much better since. Sure, 4K stuff like that, but that was a major leap. The online functionality was a big leap forward. It wasn't super toxic like it is now. The microtransactions, yes, you had horse armor, but in general, that they were quality microtransactions. You got the Rock Band songs, you got the Gears extra maps, you got Mass Effect characters or character, like you felt like you were getting a complete game. And now I'm paying extra for more stuff. Not, oh, I'm getting half my game and I'm paying extra for the rest of the game.
Yep.
And you even had demos, downloadable demos that you could try out. There were new things like achievements and trophies. There were just so many things that were, to your point, like the patches, right? They were there because they needed to be there, not because convenience for them to, hey, we'll just do it later and throw it later. Because those hard drives were small, 20 gigabytes. All your games came on your discs. What filled up your hard drive? The DLC. Like if you're buying Rock Band songs, that's going to fill up your DLC, but not Years of War, the end of the campaign. Oh, that's taking up half my hard drive. To me, that was the last like great era. And then all that stuff got progressively worse with the next generations. And I'm not saying like the other generation still had great qualities with them, had great games. The Switch was very innovative, being able to play a AAA game on your TV, take it into your car. Like that was really innovative.
Come
so there
on,
were
you mean
still
take it into your
innovations.
Toilet. Go ahead.
True.
Dropping the
You
bomb.
could do that with the Wii U though. Come on.
That's true. Now it's the portal. So I got to go drop something down the water portal with my portal, right? So
Oh,
Right.
jeez.
yeah.
That's
The-
crazy.
Great.
Another thing
Great point.
that I've been thinking about is now you're a middleman because we brought it up a few times. How many times did I wandered into a Target, a Best Buy, anything like that, and I just walked the aisle because I just wanted to see all the games, see what all they had, see what the prices were, be like, that's a new one. Oh, that game's out. Oh, this is cool and stuff. But, now you go in to the game aisles, all you see is gift cards hanging.
Yeah.
That's all you see, and it's you. That's the game. You buy the game because it's you use the code on the back, and that's how you get your game. It's not even physical anymore. And now they're not even they're running. You see the empty shelves and everything, and the clearance aisles and stuff, and you're not even going to have a video game section. It's just going to be pegs with codes. You're not going to have physical media anymore, and that was just a lure. Toys R Us days, going and pulling the card and taking it over to.
Wait,
And
yeah,
you still
waiting
got
for
the
guy to-
physical though. Oh,
And
that was-
you had the cards. You took it over to the little barn shack, and the guy that was just surrounded in physical games and stuff. And you're like, God, I want to go into that Narnia and just see all that shit, and all that stuff. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden he came back and here you go, here's your game. Thanks for shopping.
He's
blah,
like
blah, blah.
naked, rolling around in peanut butter and all those
Probably,
games.
yeah.
My mind
the-
went the wrong way the second movie
Yeah.
said grab it off the peg. I'm like, no.
No.
So
This
bad.
he wasn't the Diddy party before the Diddy party. But
Oh man,
it's-
we couldn't do it. We couldn't do it. We couldn't make it through
Yeah.
a whole thing without
I
a Diddy
know.
joke. Did he make that
Sorry.
joke? Yes, he did.
Yeah, Diddy. I did. He
He
do.
did it.
Oh,
But,
Well,
God.
Wills,
I
if
mean,
you want your mom to go into Walmart and get a game for your kids, Nintendo has one for you. They're just in a key card with a code in it.
Oh,
So it's still a
gosh.
thing that she can buy at that store.
So here's what I've done now, because I don't go down. It's depressing to go down those
Yeah.
console aisles and stuff.
it is.
So,
it is.
So what I do is I have a games list of just random games, retro games usually, that pop into my brain. That's like, oh, either I used to own this or I have no idea where it is and I want to play it, so I'm going to add it to my list. And so I just look through and I just go through and I purchase things. The problem with that is, with the way the retro market is right now, dude, like a lot of these games that I have on
I
my
know.
list, I'm looking at it, I'm like,
Forget
okay,
it.
so I should have bought Earthbound about 3 years ago when I was thinking about
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah.
should have
Ditto.
bought my N64 DD when it was $500, not $2,500. Huh? Yeah, that's
Or that game
God.
I saw and I was like, oh, they have the game I want. Oh, it doesn't have a manual. I'm gonna hold off on it. Shit. Like maybe I should have just
Yeah.
got it without the manual because I just saved $45. Because
I don't know. Yeah. So But I mean, we're getting close to the end here, you guys. Do you think this is a good time to wrap up? We didn't bring anybody else in here, but I mean, I think we got a lot of the points out.
Word.
Uh-huh.
I just got word. If you want to extend it a minute, D. Thomas.
Oh, we might
wants
have a
to hop on
DT
right now.
sighting?
Give his opinion. So.
All right, so
We could bring him in to wrap it all up.
dude, I want to hear his thoughts on it. Anyways, I was hoping he would eventually make it in here because he is more of a physical gamer than he lets on, and he just like he started doing some shorts too, and he starts to show you like, oh, he has some retro
He's got a
consoles in there,
collection,
and he's got a little bit of a collection to some games, and I'm digging it. So, but he's also a huge fan of the digital. So
Yes, he is.
a big fan of the digital because, and his
Yeah.
reason, and I'll let him add to this, and I've had this conversation, it's the space. He doesn't have the space for these things, and he's okay with he'll play it till it works, and if they take it away from him, then oh well, I'm probably done with that game anyways, and he's okay with if he wants to play it again, purchasing it again. That there's a lot of people out there that are like that, but I mean that's
speaking of the devil.
Oh, and here he is. Well, I mean that's just a side profile picture of his face, but aside from that, that's welcome to the party, D. Thomas from NC, not to be confused with L. Thomas.
Yeah, cousin L. Thomas.
To be fair, if he did want to create some more space, he could sell some of his arcade one-up cabinets.
And, no, he likes the arcade feel, baby. I know that. With the
What's up, DT?
Yo, what up?
There's the
Look at all the physical media, baby.
There's
Look
the
at
vault.
that. Yeah.
Guys, what's up?
Hey, what's up, brother?
Shadow, Dantron, Endgame, Wales, Wolf. What's up, man?
You tell
What
us.
is my friend?
We already talked about everything.
Guys, I would have been here sooner, but we had this event we had to go to. I was giving Wolf play-by-plays. I was sending him pictures and
He
everything.
was.
Yeah.
Oh,
No problem. Hey,
I'm
I-
like, yo, hurry up and cut the cake, man. All right, what we got?
Yeah.
So first off, I want to say thanks for making it. I was just getting ready to wrap up, and Wolf was like, "Hey, let's hold up for a minute." So the cool part though is that where you're at right now. This is another specific area I have not seen, but yet you've given little hints of your physical collection. So go ahead and just give us your thoughts on the way that you see the state of gaming, digital, physical, all of that stuff. If we covered it already, I just want to have the D. Thomas like kind of feel on it.
Man, I like physical media. I like the convenience of digital media, but I love physical media. I'm running out of space. Like this right here. Like say for this right here. This Streets of Rage 4. Genesis. This is the collector's edition. So we're talking about music CDs. This right here is a limited run. We got the steel case book, all that good juiciness that you get from physical media. Who doesn't love physical media, bro? Now, for me, I'm running out of space for all of this stuff. That's okay. I've seen Wolf Space in person, and bet you by golly, wow. Ooh, that boy got a lot of stuff. But when it comes down to digital and physical media, like I said, I love the convenience of digital media, physical media. It sucks that they're literally pushing it on people. Well, they're pushing it on us consumers that they just want to go just do away with it, bro. Like I know the world that we're living in is gonna come to an end one day. We got it. It's gonna come to an end. But while we're here, bro, let's keep the physical media alive. I get it that you got people that don't care about physical media. That's fine. If they want to go all digital, let them go all digital. But for the ones that still want to collect, like Wolf with the full set of TurboGrafx 16, those daily retro fixes you put out on a regular Dantron, with all that physical media you have, let those guys continue and let those guys and gals continue to collect their physical media. You see this wall behind me, all this physical media. Let these guys collect. It sucks that they're pushing so hard. And then like you pay $80 for a physical game. Mario, I got this Mario and the Origami King. You open it up, all you get is that little old cartridge and nothing else. No instruction manual, no nothing. But then if you go back, I don't know, you go back to I'm just gonna grab I'm just grabbing a random game. You Dance Groove on PlayStation 2. You pull that out. You got a full physical game. You got a colored book. You got all this goodness in here, and it's like I don't know if they're getting lazier or what, man. But it does kind of suck though. And this stuff is like you guys that got physical media. This stuff is gonna be like high tier loot in about 20, 30 years.
That's
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about too. Is like why did physical media? Wolfman made the comment like everything retro games in particular spiked, and I mentioned that it was just after the Switch 2 announcement because it put into stark reality like this is the end of like actual physical media. So the only physical media that's still out there, like it's finite now. That's it. That's all that's going to be there unless there's like bootleg copies made or if they do limited runs or something like that. But really, what's there is there. And then all of a sudden, like I told them, like I bought a game, seriously, disc only, 2 days before the Switch announcement. 2 days after, so not the next day after the Switch announcement, it was the day after that, that same exact disc, because I was looking for them to find what one I wanted to get. Every single one of them doubled in price. It was twice as expensive. I'm not exaggerating, and it's gone up since then. Nothing has dropped since that point. So it's like, yeah.
So I don't have the collection like you and Wolfman, maybe Endgame and Shadow, maybe Wales. What up, Wales? Maybe Wales too. I don't have that. I got a nice stash, but I'm nowhere near. You Dan Wolf I would say you and Dan Wolf are like Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg. Y'all are the Mark Zuckerberg and the Jeff Bezos of this. Meaning y'all just got like y'all are rich, like when it comes to that. But like having these art mega cage, sharkades, retrocades, and having the entire Neo Geo collection, the entire PS2 collection, having all of those collections of all of those games, I'll take it any day of the week because I don't have anywhere to put all of those physical games. And it's not like these companies are making these games to where you can have a digital library, to where you can have a digital room, to where you can show your friends online, say, hey, look at all these digital games I got. You can't even get these games like that anymore. And then they're not even selling a lot of these games anymore. So yeah, if I got to get it by emulation, then I'll get it by emulation. I mean, you have developers out there that are developing ways to play games and emulate games way better than Nintendo. And Nintendo is a multi-trillion-dollar company. Like, I don't get it. But it does suck that physical media that we in 2025, 2035, 2040. This right here is going to be what we 8 tracks to the kids that are born in 2025, 2030. To think about that. That's crazy, bro. That is crazy.
It's interesting thought.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, man. But I wish I could run my mouth another. I was so tired driving home, like, oh, I gotta hurry get home. And now I'm so awake. We're talking about games. I'm so live, like I feel like I'm on a live stream.
Yeah.
And I know y'all been at this for like a freaking hour plus 2 hours plus. But I made it. But yeah, those are my thoughts, man. Dang it, I wish I could have got here earlier for this, but I'm pretty sure you guys are just as big on this stuff and you guys share the same feelings I do, I'm pretty sure, in a lot of ways than one when it comes to physical media and digital media. This is all being the red button is on. We're on air, right?
We're recorded.
Yes.
We're recording it.
Yes.
So
I get to watch back what I missed. Dang it.
Don't show your light guns.
no. Yeah, they'll pop it down. I'll have to edit it out. No pew pews. No
leave those
pew
gun
pews.
pontoons alone, or the NES Dappers, baby. No showing that.
Hey, Wells, I like that shirt, man. Austin 316.
Yes, sir. Yes, it's
I
the
have
OG one.
I have a lot of wrestling content in my IG, watching just OG
And chocolate
matches.
blues.
Yeah.
And
So
he got on the Venom shirt. Okay, I like that.
Go for it, Wales.
DT, so we're gonna get your opinion on this because we've discussed it, and it's still just mind-boggling to me. But the fact that Nintendo came out and said that if you violate our agreements or you put stuff on there that you shouldn't have, and we know you shouldn't have, you bought a console, you're still just licensing it. You don't really own that console. We will go in and we will absolutely dust your profile, anything you bought with your profile, and brick your machine. Is that not theft? To me, it's theft. But I wanted to get your take.
So I'm paying you money. Like I don't know who set this world. I don't know who set this whole thing up. Like, well, we got to pay all these car taxes, house taxes, and all these idiotic, all these crazy taxes. But when I pay for something, bro, it's mine. So when I pay for this Nintendo Switch and I tinker with it or whatever, you're gonna brick it. So you don't even really own. You own the hardware, but you're like renting it. Now I don't plan on
Renting it. Yep.
Yeah.
I guess the way to beat around that, you would have to create another dummy account, buy another machine, and do all your tinkering on that fake dummy account and keep your account clean. That's
So
the only way to do that. But
that's $900.
who wants to pay all that extra money for that though? I love this. Is gonna have to be. I'm starting a podcast too, and I'm gonna have you guys on there. Guys, I love Nintendo, but I hate some of the stuff that they do, bro. So anti-consumer, man. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Here's the
'Cause
best part,
essentially, that's what
DT.
they can do.
Here's the best part. This is going to blow your mind. It's not just if you actually look at what they said. It's not just if you modify their hardware or run any other software on there. That's not what they say. It's anything that violates their code of conduct. So what does that mean?
So your voice chat too. I think it's the voice chat. If you're
Yeah.
talking,
That's
crazy,
why they
There it
push
is.
they
it.
say they can brick it too.
Yeah.
But check this.
Yep.
We talked about this for a second, but I want to get your thought on it. In theory, this might be a conspiracy theory, but in theory, you can make content disparaging Nintendo, their practices, or anything like that. If they find out who you are, technically, by bad mouthing them and trying to put them in a bad light, it's kind of like an athletic team. You do something that it doesn't look good to the team itself. How they worded it, it's still open to discussion, but there's a chance that they could say, "Nope, you're done. We don't need your business."
Yeah, and I don't like that, and that's probably why, if you guys don't know, they have no review units going out. Like everybody, IGN, me, you, all of us, we all gonna get them on the same day. They're not allowing any review, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm only getting it when I win your contest. That's it. That's the only time.
well, same
And
here.
I'm the other one.
I don't know. I'm
giving
we're gonna have to
away
fight
too.
for it.
Yeah.
I'm giving away too.
Yeah.
So
You're giving away two?
Yeah. So you guys
Yeah.
that are out there, DT, sell us right now. What has to happen?
Is to win the Switch.
Yeah.
Hey, you be subscribed to the channel and be in the live stream.
And you have to be a part of this retro law.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
So-
Game.
All right. So live stream DT on Fridays. What time is it Eastern? It's 4 o'clock Eastern.
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
7
Eastern. 7 p.m. Eastern. D. Thomas from NC YouTube live stream. He'll play your stuff. He'll play weird things. I got some weird ones for you next week, brother. But anyways, so that's what needs to happen if you want to win one of these Switch 2s. Then we can complain about it together.
And then if
Don't let them
DT
see
complains
it.
and Nintendo finds out, they'll brick your Switch that you won from DT.
That's right.
Everybody that's in the live chat.
cold-blooded.
Everybody.
That's
I
cold-blooded.
see all of you. Whoop.
Yeah.
Oh
Yep.
my gosh.
Nintendo
DT, you
give a
want to
fuck.
eat at the Nintendo restaurant? The gourmet chef brings your meal. You take a bite. You're like, oh, it's pretty good, but not as good as I wanted. He takes it away. You don't get it anymore.
Oh,
That's
dude.
crazy,
You paid
man.
for it. You're still paying for it. You pay up front.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, with lastly, I'll say this. Lastly, with games like Mafia, the old country that's coming out, looks so good. The trailer looks amazing. Red Dead Redemption vibes. It looks great. Graphically looks phenomenal. You look at something like that, and not taking anything away from Mario Kart, but it looks that old country, the Mafia, going for $49. Then you look
Yep.
at Mario Kart, it's going for $80. And guys, I'll say this, and I'm off. Shut up, Derek. Shut up, D. Thomas. This Mario Kart right here, I got it. This is the Wii U version. I got the Wii U version. I got the Switch version. That game has been out for like 10 years. It's still $60.
$60. Yep.
Ah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And you
Mhm.
have a game like, you will have something like Resident Evil 4 come out, and after about 2 months of being out, it's on sale. But you mean to tell me this still $60 15 years later?
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
have me go Angry
It's
Joe
su-
in here, bro.
Yep. Super Mario Odyssey, same
Ah.
thing, $60.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, I know they hold their value, but come on, bro. I mean, we can go buy a Bentley or a Lamborghini from what it cost 10 years ago, lower price off. Come on, Nintendo.
Well, and wait till it's all digital, right? Like Xbox Game Pass everywhere. Well, they control the market then. They control the pricing. And then the Switch, if it's all digital down the road, Switch 3, right? And then they can brick it. And to your guys' point about retro games, the prices are going to go up, right? So we have a backlog of stuff that we can go to. What about the new gamers that are Game Pass is the best deal ever, so I don't need to buy physical games, right? Well, it's the best deal ever until they decide it's not, and they raise the price or they take this off of it. Now you want to go buy the retro stuff. Holy crap, that's way more expensive.
I haven't seen any any of those anti-contest law suits coming on any of that stuff for video games yet, really. So we'll see the non-compete stuff. So
we talk about this physical media, but there are some games that you can buy. You have the actual disc, right? But when you put the disc in, you still gotta download the game. So what's the point of even getting a disc now?
Mhm.
that's PS4 and PS5.
It's not what it
Xbox
used
One.
to be, man. It's good to have
No.
you guys that share the same thought process and that are, got these crazy backlogs and catalogs of physical media. But guys, it's right before whoever thought we would see Gears of War on PlayStation, and there's rumors that Halo was coming to Nintendo, coming to the Switch too. We're watching Xbox die right before our eyes, bro. The Xbox that we knew it as a brand, they're cooked. Only thing left is PlayStation and Nintendo. That's it, bro. And who knows how the future game is going to be.
Yeah. And how much longer are they going to be in the console? Because then we've said it's, now it's just get a PC, do Steam, do all this. Because, I mean, if physical media is gone, then what's the point?
Dang it. I'll miss it, bro. I'll definitely miss it. And people will pay top dollar to have some of this nice physical media, on deck.
I still want your Contra 3: The Alien Wars. That's on my list. I still got to buy one. I know it's sitting back there somewhere too, DT. I know it is.
Yeah, it's in here somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still got all these Super Nintendo games in here.
Oh, so good. All right. So, is there anybody else that wants to cover anything before we wrap this one up? We pretty much beat this horse, dude. This horse is.
I'm glad I made the show. Thank you for inviting me, Wolfman. Even though I was late, I'm just glad to be here. But I'm pretty sure you guys crossed every T and dotted every I with this subject. Oh man, I know you guys killed it.
Yeah.
Can't wait to go back and watch it and see what I missed. But
be in the chat, like when we do the live chat, when we do the live premiere.
The premiere, yeah.
We'll just be in there and you can see it and be like, oh man. And if you have ideas and things like that, we'll have a supplemental if we want. This is going to be we've already done a kind of a state of gaming one. I don't want this one to be a supplemental. This is actually going to be like a standalone, like this is where we're at right now. Let's just discuss it. So, because it needed to happen. Like this is something that's been talked about now heavily in the media cycle, all kinds of stuff. Gamers have been talking about this heavily since the Switch 2 announcement, and it needed to be discussed, I think, by people that actually are gamers. I'm tired of seeing people that are like fake online gamers or fake influencers talking about it when they don't really know what they're talking about, and it comes off weird, like it's not genuine. And so I wanted to get with you guys, Endgame, Shadow Gaming, my brother Wolfman, DT, and Wales. I wanted to get like actual gamers' ideas and thoughts on this. So I want to say thanks you guys for coming in here and hanging out for a bit.
Appreciate it.
Oh, great.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for the invite.
Yep. So make sure, those of you that hung around to the end, make sure you check out Endgame Arcade, his YouTube channel. He has lots of cool stuff. He's always updating and letting people know with like updates to, like Speedstorm is another big one. He does coin op challenges. And he's really involved in the Arcade One group. Make sure that you check him out on that. All his shorts and videos that he has on that. Great content. Shadow Gaming is
Definitely.
all over. Like he has a few podcasting things on what is it, Spotify? Is that right?
Spotify.
Yep,
Yes.
Spotify's his big one. Get on him. Get on some of his podcasts. There, it's great. D. Thomas from NC goes without. Doesn't need any kind of introduction. Check him out on YouTube. He's going to be starting up a Discord, I heard in the last little bit. So make sure you check him out Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern for his live streams. They're a lot of fun. It's a good environment to hang out and just kick it with your boys. And then Wales doesn't have anything except for just being awesome, and that's fine. Just like Wolfman, I couldn't do it without you. I couldn't do it without you,
I don't
Wolfman.
have shit.
No, that's not true. Wolfman has a great attitude majority of the time, except for now, because this is a hurtful situation for those of us in particular that have the physical media. And I know this one was a little bit of a hard one, but hopefully you guys got some enjoyment out of this. Hopefully you guys got some fun out of it. And anybody else got the last sign off that they want to say?
Yes. How about you? How about heading to Dantron 69K, who puts out amazing retro shorts, which he's doing now on Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays. And you could get really an idea of some of these hidden gems and these great games from the retro past. And he does live Twitch streams, and he does gaming, and he just did this whole Doom series where he's doing the playthrough of the new game. So let's not forget Dantron. Please sub him at his YouTube channel. What is it? Ring the bell. I don't even know what that's called. Isn't that Taco Bell?
Yeah, you gotta hit that bell. So you can subscribe.
That's Moss, dude.
Yeah, no Moss.
Yeah,
you can,
no Moss. No Moss.
So yeah, so if you guys feel so inclined, hitting the subscribe and then hitting that notification bell, so whenever I drop some stuff, you'll see it. Same thing for Endgame Arcade and D. Thomas from NC. You know, if you see it and you go, I'm not interested in that, but at least it's there in a notification. You can come back and check it out later. But anyways, I appreciate all you guys being here. Tough subject, but something that needed to be talked about. And until later, all you guys, peace.
Peace.